we know the tradition. We all know the last couple of years what has happened. How do you manage moving forward now that the guys are here, expectations and people wanting to know how good is this or how are we going to be? Because I know, as you said, you run towards things and that, and you love that kind of stuff. How do you manage that moving forward between now and the beginning of the season? Because it is a long time still of people talking about expectations, or do you put that out there? Do you go out, hey, this,
Well, I just tell you exactly how I do it and who I am. First of all, I've said this before in other interviews, but I am an exceptionally irrational fan of the Cincinnati Bengals and Reds. Irrational, right? And that's what fan means, right? It's fanatics. Right? That's what makes sports great. That's what makes this program great. That's what makes this city great. It's the passion that people have for University of Louisville basketball. I say all the time, not only are they as passionate fan bases in their country, but they're as knowledgeable, right? I have over 1 million assistant coaches out there. That's kind of how it is. Said this on other interviews as well, but Jay Wright is one of the best coaches in the history of collegiate basketball. He's won multiple national championships. Obviously, our athletic director, Josh Hurd, worked with him, and I've done a lot of research, read books, because I think all good coaches always want to learn from the greatest coaches. And coming off multiple national championships, the expectations were really high, and people were asking him, national pundits, people around Philadelphia, passionate fans of Villanova were saying, well, what's the expectation? What's the goal? What can we expect? What's the expectation that you have for your team? What's the goal? Mm-hmm. And he said, our goal simply, it's coming off 2 national championships, is simply to improve our culture. And he said, if we do that, and you talk about a Herculean task, because they defined culture in college basketball and what they did all those years. If they were able to go from where they were to where they wanted to go in terms of improving their culture, everything else was going to take care of itself. That's all I worry about. It's your job as media members, and it's everybody else's job as irrational fans as I am of the Cincinnati Reds and Bengals to worry about that stuff. I can't. As much as you want to think I'm reading all your stuff, Jody, I'm not. I just don't. I don't. Not that I don't respect you guys are both media, but I put blinders on, and I have to be on social media to connect with fans and with students and tweet. I ain't reading your crap. And I'm not reading what fans are saying either, because when things are really good, things are really good. When things are bad, things are bad. So, but I get it. I know what I signed up for. I've been in this business for 22 years. Obviously, it's a whole different level. But that's my approach, man. That's how I do it.
Yeah. You speak of culture, and one of the guys, we've had a chance, obviously, to talk to a number of the guys that are transferring in, and one of the guys that just immediately blew me away, as I'm sure he does everybody talks with, is Terrence Edwards. And obviously, great talent coming in, as many of the guys are, as all the guys are, but just a guy that carries a demeanor about him, a determination, like, we're going to get this done. What's he mean to this roster when you have a guy that's accomplished as he is, but also kind of carries that mindset as well?
Yeah, I really think you could go all the way down our roster and see a very, very mature group, older guys, guys that long in the tooth, hair on their chest, that have been through the wars, you know what I mean, and come from winning programs and have logged a whole lot of minutes of college basketball. They had a lot of success as well. So I think that's kind of one of the identities and the hallmark of this team is that we're old, right? It's a mature group. And Terrence, fat as they call him, because he had chubby cheeks when he was a kid. I think that's hilarious. He just does, man. He just has a glow about him, and a bounce in his step, and a smile on his face. He's a great teammate. He has a great energy about him. It's his disposition, his personality is as impressive as his game.
When this started, the first couple guys were obviously guys that you had coached and you had been with you at Charleston before. How important was it to get off to a start with 2 guys that you've had, and they're both really good at what they do and their skill set as well?
Yeah, and then you had the third guy in Kobe Rogers, who's obviously redshirting this year coming off an injury, but similarly when I talked about Fat and Chucky and Noah and Kaysen and Kader and Hadley and all those guys, and they're players with winning DNAs, right? They're very mature players. Obviously, they got a little bit of advantage on the front end just because they really just know how we roll, right? They know our DNA, they know what we do, they know our culture, they know our terminology. But they're pros in terms of their approach. James is the oldest young dude I've ever been around. I don't know if that's the way to say it, but he's still only 18 years old, but he's like an old head. He's got an old spirit, crazy focused, crazy mature, driven, and just wants to be great. Rain, gosh darn, he started every game his entire college career, and I always tell the story. The preseason his freshman year, he came over from Australia, and I always say the Australians for the first 4 or 5 months they're just spinning because they're on the other side of the globe. It's summer there, it's winter here, it's summer there. They're all messed up. And he had this reputation as this great shooter, and he didn't make nothing. The first 4 weeks of practice, pardon my bad English. And I remember saying to Cass, who's the Australian assistant on our team, on our staff, "What's up? I thought this dude could shoot." So kind of got the reputation of big game Rain because he played North Carolina in his first real college game. He had 6'3", 7'3", something like that. And I looked over at Cass and he just smiled at me. But so it's good to have those guys and just be able to. They're not outwardly aggressive with it, but they'll be able to kind of help behind the scenes. Be like, "Hey, Kelsey's a little crazy, but this is what he means by that." I'm not really.
Yeah.